If you're having trouble sighting in your bow sight, this video is definitely going to be for you, because I'm going to show you guys everything you need to know about sighting in a bow and what steps to take in order to have your best chance of success for out in the hunting field. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. This bow sight that I have in my hand, and I actually did a video on it, I'll leave a link somewhere up there so you guys can check it out. I have yet to level this or do anything. I'm going to throw it on my bow, and I'm actually going to sight this in completely unlevel, because I know some of you guys don't have access to, maybe an at-home bow shop with levels. You don't have levels. So, and I'm going to prove to you guys that you can pretty much get 20 and 30 yards set in and dialed without having, all the fancy dancy equipment to get it done. So we're going to get this put on my bow, and then we're going to go ahead and shoot 20 and 30 yards. I'm going to show you guys everything you need to know. Just to prove to you guys that I'm doing this in the most basic way, I'm actually going to take my old sight off in front of you guys on and put the new sight on in one clip, so there's no cuts, and you guys can see that I'm doing this without mounting anything, without leveling, to prove to you guys that you don't have to go to a pro shop and get everything leveled out and all set. I definitely do recommend that, and if you have the opportunity to, definitely take advantage of that, because that's going to make a lot of difference, and you'll see that eventually as the more and more you shoot. But if you're just getting into it and you want to get shooting and go hunting, you can really do it without having a level sight. Most of the people that you're going to be shooting, that are new into it, aren't even going to look at their level. They're just going to put the pen on the deer and shoot, and that's kind of what I'm getting at right now. So with that being said, let's take this bad boy off. This is the Spot Hogg that I've done a video on. I'll leave a link somewhere. But we're going to take this off right in front of you guys. I've had really good success with this. I've killed, I don't know, 5-6 hogs with it, couple deer, turkeys. I'm trying to think of everything I've killed with this. But sight is almost off. It's a good sight. I am going to change this year. The sight that I'm going to put on is a Trophy Ridge 5-pin, and I'm probably not going to shoot that this hunting season. I might. I haven't ever shot one. I have one, but I've never actually shot one. I've shot their 3-pin that comes on their Bear packages back when I was younger, shooting, package bows, but now that I've kind of gotten a little more advanced, I shoot different types of bows now. So that is completely off. There's no sight. We have done 0 cuts, so you guys know this is 100% authentic. And to prove that I've never mounted this, look at these screws. You can see that these have yet to be tapped or, threaded in. So we're going to put this sight on and go right here. This might be a little bit harder than I thought. So we got it in there. You can see I have yet to tighten it, so now we're going to tighten it down. Need to go smaller, quite a bit smaller actually. It's okay though. We are on there. We have our new bow sight on there. It's not wobbly, and we are good to go. So now what do you do? Let's get into it. Okay, so you just got your bow sight on. Now what do you do? The first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that your rest is centered and level, left and right, and it is level up and down. That's going to make it so much easier for your bow sight to do that. That's not part of this video, but that's just an extra little tip. But what do you do afterwards when you actually are wanting to work with your sight and get it actually sighted in? Well, the first thing you're going to want to do, and I'll kind of show you guys, hopefully this gives you a little bit of perspective, is you want to line up your string with the center of your arrow and the center of your pins of your sight. So if you can look at this one, this is not lined up. I got to move my sight back this way to get it to where my pins are in the middle of my arrow. And when I look down my string, they're right in the middle of my rest as well. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and make some micro adjustments until I can see that it looks like it's close to where we need to be. I'm going to keep moving, keep moving. Just keep making those adjustments as we need to. Okay, that's going to be really close. So we are level left and right, as close as we can get without actually shooting. The only way we're going to be able to do that is we just have to go shoot now. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to 5 yards, and we're going to shoot at 5 yards just to see how we're looking left and right. Make micro adjustments. I'll range out to 20. We'll just set 20, 30, and we might even set 40. We'll see. We'll see how much time we have in the video for today, but we'll definitely get 20 and 30 so you guys just have a little bit of a kind of a guess of how to do this. One thing you're also definitely going to need when you're doing this is you're either going to need a known range, public shooting range. So if you don't have the access to a private area, or you don't have a rangefinder is a huge tool for success for a bow hunter and really any hunter in that general, but definitely a bow hunter, you're definitely going to want to have a rangefinder so you know how far that is you're shooting your target or even your deer. That helps tremendous amounts. I've been bow hunting for over a decade, damn near, and I've been shooting a rangefinder, and it's key. You guys definitely need to get one of those. Keep it with you at all times and you won't regret it. You guys can see behind me, we're actually going to shoot our top pin. Our top pin is our green pin right here. So on your bow sight, this is going to be your top pin, the one at the very top of the housing, and we're going to shoot that at 5 yards first, just to see where we're hitting left and right, up and down. If we're shooting about 1.5 inches high at 5 yards, we should be about perfect at 20. So let's go ahead and shoot 5 yards, see where we're hitting left and right and up and down, and we'll go from there. So here we go. It seems like really dumb when you do it, or when you think about it. 5 yards, you're like, well, why am I doing this? Well, this is just a template. You're going to know where you're hitting, where you need to move left and right, and the further you go, the more you're going to notice your mistakes in your sight being sighted in or not sighted in. So let's go ahead and rip it. So I was aiming for that middle dot in that target, and I hit way, way, way high. So that tells me that I need to move my housing or my pin way high. And typically when I'm doing my 20-yard pin, I want to do actually my housing. I don't want to move individual pins until I actually get past my 20 and 30. Typically your 20 and 30 are going to be so close that you can just move them with just single pins. I always move my 20 with just my housing. And what I mean by that is, instead of moving this individual pin, and I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to pick it up on the camera, I'm actually going to move the whole housing up. And I'll get onto that too. When you're shooting a bow and you're not accurate, shoot towards your mistakes and move your sight towards your mistakes. So what I mean by that is, if you're shooting low, move your pin low. If you're shooting high, move your pin high. If you're shooting left, move your pin left. If you're shooting right, move your pin right. Always go to where move your pin to where the arrow is hitting on the target. That's the best way I can explain it, and that's how you sight in a bow. It's pretty easy, but we're gonna move our sight up, shoot another one, and we'll see what happens. So we just moved our housing up a considerable amount. We're going to shoot back at 20 again, or 5 yards, excuse me, and see how our 20 pin is stacking up at 5. If it's about 1 inch high, that's going to be about perfect. So let's go ahead and shoot it. It's not hard to do this. You just kind of have to take your time, pay attention to what you're doing, and move your sight the right way. So I moved down a considerable amount there, but I still need to go up quite a bit. I am shooting a little bit far to the left, but what I'll do is, when I shoot my bow and I'm making adjustments to my sight to get it sighted in, I'm going to make one adjustment at a time. So if I'm shooting high left, I'm going to get my vertical or my horizontal one at a time perfect, and then I'll go on to that secondary adjustment that I need to make. So I still need to go up quite a bit. So I'm going to take my Allen wrench set, and I'm going to make that adjustment that I need to. Don't be afraid to make adjustments. Always overcoming those issues that you're going to find out in the field, just to mitigate them, is the best way we can do it. So I'm going to keep going up. You guys see me making the adjustment. Okay, there we go. I'm going to shoot one more arrow, see where we're hitting at 5, move it off to the left a little bit, because I know I'm hitting left. I'm hitting left, I'm going to move my sight left, and we'll see what happens. So that's pretty good. That's about 1 inch high for where I wanted it to be. It is still a little bit to the left. So vertical, we're where we want to be at 5 yards. You want to be about 1 inch high, or about yay much high at 5 yards. And like I said, the reason why we do this is, when you go to 20, if you're just going to start off at 20, you might shoot that arrow, right into the bottom of your, right in the bottom of your cart, like I have my target on. You might shoot that arrow into the, outer space, and you might not ever see it again. So shooting at 5 yards is just a safe way to know where you're going to be hitting. That way, when you go into 20 yards, you know you're not going to miss the target completely. And I think we're getting pretty close to where we need to be. I'm going to make the left adjustment, and then we're going to take it back to 20 and shoot the first arrow at 20 and see how close we are. So we have our target. You guys can see it back there. It's a little bit further from where we started. We're going to shoot our 20 pin and see how close we got, just off of 5 yards. And I can't stress that enough. 5 yards is so crucial for me as a bow hunter and even a target shooter. You know, 5 yards, you can get your form down, you can get your first pin and your first shot increment pretty dang close at 20, but we're going to go ahead and prove that and shoot a couple shots at 20 just to see where we're at. It has almost always worked, or gets you pretty close to where you have to make minor adjustments at that first arrow at 20 yards. So we're going to shoot right for that middle dot there, and we're going to see where we hit. So we're just shooting just barely a little bit high. That's about perfect, actually. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move my target back just a little bit, because we're at actually like 18 yards. I'm gonna move it back to 20. We're gonna shoot one more, and hopefully our 20 is gonna be right on the money. All right, we're gonna double check at 20, see where we're hitting, and if we're sighted in for 20 yards, we're gonna go ahead and back it up to 30 and shoot our 30 pin just to see where we're at. So let's do it. I pulled it a little bit, but that is still where we need it to be. That is 20 yards sighted in. I'll even zoom you guys in. You can see I was just a little bit to the left, but we're still looking really good as far as our line. You guys can see, oh gosh, just a little bit to the left, not too big of a deal. I knew that was me as soon as I shot. So that is 20 yards sighted in. We're gonna go ahead and move our target back to 30, shoot 30, and we're going to see where it hits. So without further ado, let's do it. So we have our target at 30 yards. You guys can see it way back there. We're going to shoot our pin, see where we hit. It should be pretty close, and hopefully, with any luck, we're going to be where we need to be. .30 was just a little bit high. That's okay. We're going to shoot one more arrow just to double check. Maybe make a little bit of adjustments, and we'll see. So we're going to shoot one more arrow at 30 because my 30 pin was pretty much perfect up and down. Left, it was shooting left, so I did make a little bit of adjustments as far as shooting it to the left. But I think we're pretty close. This is how you pretty much do it. You just get each individual pin, focus on moving the housing first for that first 20-yard pin, and then move individual pins. That's a tongue twister. Move individual pins as you need to, and typically the rest will take care of itself. So without further ado, last shot at 30 yards. Target's down there. I'm going to take you guys with me, see how we do. .30 yards, and that looks about perfect. Let's go take a look at it. I'm pretty excited. So really, sighting in a bow is not as hard as people make it out to be. People take back, walk back tuning is something that I'm going to get into for my more advanced shooters, and that's something that I definitely recommend trying and getting into when you're actually sighting in your bow. That's going to get you more familiar with your sight, your bow, and more importantly, yourself. You're going to know what kind of mistakes you're going to make the further you get back from your target and when you start shooting. But a little bit low, but that's definitely still a kill. That could have been just me, honestly, but I would definitely take that for sighting in for 30 yards. If I'm just getting started, this is what I want to do. I want to do this a brief, generalized template for you guys to go off of when you're shooting and sighting in your bow. So here we are. Not bad at all. Like I said, just about, I don't know, thumb width low. I wouldn't complain about that at all. Definitely a dead deer, definitely a 10 ring if you're aiming at the 12, so I can't complain about that. So that's how you guys sight in a bow sight if you're just putting it on your bow for the first time. Those are the steps that I'm going to take, and I'm going to tell you guys to take in order to get your sight hitting where you're aiming. It's pretty simple. I'm going to do a quick overview real quick. First and foremost, make sure everything is tightened down. You don't want to over crank it because you could break parts. You could have issues with your sight later on down the road and the longevity of the lifespan of that sight. Sights do break, they're mechanical. Anything mechanical can and will fail, so make sure you just take care of them, protect them, don't drop your bow. All that good fun stuff you guys know. So make sure everything's tightened down. level your arrow, or center shot is what we like to call it, where your center of your arrow and the center of your rest are lined up, and line up your middle pins. Shoot at 5 yards, get 5 yards as close as you can to the middle of the target, maybe a couple inches high, that way when you back up to 20, shoot 20. 20 is where you need to be at to start. Once your 20's on, and when you're making those adjustments to get to 20, only move the housing, don't move individual pins, move the housing. Once you back up to 30, that's when you move individual pins, because you've already gotten one pin set at 20 with the housing. Then you have to make individual increments adjustments. So that 30 pin, move that 30 pin up or down like you need to, and you guys will be set up for success. With that being said, I hope you guys got value out of today's video. I hope you learned something, and I hope you get success when you're sighting in your own bow sight. I hope everyone's doing super well, and I will see you guys in the next video. Leave me a like and a subscribe.